All right, compound inequalities. Compound inequalities means there's more than one thing going on, and there's two different types of inequalities. We call them and inequalities and or inequalities. And inequalities. That means when we graph them, so we put them on a number line, the two things come together. It's greater than this, and it's also less than that. So both things can happen at the same time. Or inequalities. And the word of meaning or, both things cannot happen at the same time. It's either less than that or it's greater than that. Okay? So be careful whenever you're doing these. And inequalities come together or inequalities go apart. Think about it. If it's and, both have to be true. Both have to be true. If it's or, one or the other is true, but not both. Okay, both cannot be true at the same exact time. So we have to be less than this or we're greater than that. We can't be both. Right here, both are true. We're greater than that and we're less than that value. Okay, some other examples of things that you might have to run into. It might say at most -10 or at least 7. This is a key statement, or. That means we're going to have an or in our answer. So at most 10, at most, this means less than. But it also can mean equal to. So my variable is less than or equal to -10. Then I put the word or. Okay? Then at least 7. At least 7 means greater than. At least means greater than. X has to be greater than 7, but it says it at least 7, which means it can be equal to 7 also. So that would be my solution for a problem like that if it said or. If it says something like at least -2 and at most 5. Keyword being and. Okay, which means my inequality is going to come together. I'm going to only have one x value, and it's going to sit right in the middle. At least -2, so greater than -2. Greater or equal to, so -2, and then x is greater than or equal to that. Then it says at most 5, so that means less than or equal to 5. Do you see how the and inequality is written? It's written as one thing, okay? The x is sandwiched between my two numbers in an and inequality. With an or inequality, it's going to say something or something else, okay? A couple of more points I need to make before you can go do everything. You're going to see problems. They're going to look kind of confusing, but pretty simple, okay? This is a compound inequality. You see two things going on. So really what you're going to do is you're going to set it up as two separate equations. You're going to cover that up, and that's one equation. So -3 less than 5x plus 2. And you're going to solve that. Ignore that one. 5x plus 2 less than 12. And since these two things are sandwiched in the middle, this is an and inequality. Okay, so now we solve both of those. Pause the video and solve these two real quick and then come back to it. All right, so you should have subtracted 2. Divide by 5. So -1 less than x. Over here, subtract 2. X less than 2. And now we're going to smash it back together, okay? So we put one x in the middle, and then we just sandwich it between our two answers. So that's the way that we do compound inequalities. Split them into two separate problems and then solve. Last thing that you need to know. Consecutive even numbers. The way that we look at this, consecutive even numbers, well, think about it. If I have a number, let's just call it n. The next even number. Well, how do you get to the next even number? Well, let's say that n is 2. Well, my next even number is 4. So 2, 4, and then 4 goes to 6, and then 6 goes to 8. Well, how are we getting to each one? Well, from here to here, I add 2. There to there, I add 2. So my pattern is adding 2. So if it's going to be consecutive even numbers, that means I add 2. And that's going to be the same thing for odds. You just add 2 to get to the next number. So n, and then n plus 2, and then n plus 4, okay? Because 2 plus 2 would be 4, and then we add another 2, so n plus 6, so on and so forth, however we need to have. So if it says the first 3 consecutive even numbers, it would be those. First 2 consecutive even numbers, first 4 consecutive even numbers, whatever they ask for. All right, so that's how we do consecutive even numbers. You should have all the tools that you need to do the compound inequalities unit. Good luck.